everybody. Welcome to episode, I don't know what number this is, of Barley, Hops, and Yarn, the podcast. It is February 8th. I figured this time around we'll try for kind of a vlog style, so I'm just kind of here to check in and see how we're doing. Oh, by the way, yarn podcast, knitting podcast. I dye yarn, so you'll sometimes see yarn that I've dyed. So yeah, I don't know. I normally have more of an intro, I think, but here we are. We're winging it. So I'll start off with, I don't have any finished objects. Well, I have a hoe, but we'll get there. So start off with some of my whips. I don't remember where I left off last time with this one, but this is going to be a So Summer shirt by Jessie Made Designs. I prepared for all of this beforehand this time. I'm doing size 58 to 56. My bust is size 53. The pattern I think calls for positive E, like 10 inches of positive ease. That feels like a little bit too much. And also I'm already kind of feeling like this might be too big for me. I did not gauge. I never gauge. Funny story. There's a new yarn shop that's local-ish to me. It's about 45 minutes away. And I was in there checking it out, and there was a knitting club that was all like people in their 70s and above, I'd guess, that were in there as well. And I'm looking at yarns. I'm trying to get out of a sock slump, so I'm looking at yarns to decide what might help motivate me to get out of my slump. And this lovely woman comes up and starts asking me, what does the shop have this? Does the shop have that? I'm like, I don't know. This is my first time in here as well. And so then we're talking about she's looking for a lace weight yarn to make a specific crochet project. All right, cool. The shop did not have any lace weight yarn yet. So then we started talking about maybe doing a extra light fingering or something like that. And I made the comment of, well, if there's ever a time that you would need to gauge swatch, that would probably be it. And she goes, no, you always have to gauge swatch. And I was like, yeah, but I don't. And she's like, no, you have to. If it's a garment, you have to. And I'm like, yes, but I don't. I've made garments before. They have fit me perfectly fine without swatching. Have I run into curveballs along the way? Sure, I have. Do I know for a fact if this is going to fit me or not? No, I do not. And you know what? I'm okay with that. It's going to fit. It might be a little too big, but that's okay, because this is going to be my around the house knit top anyway. I don't really see me wearing it out all that often, except for maybe if we're on vacation or something. Anyway, so all of that to say I don't gauge swatch, and you cannot peer pressure or bully me into it, because it's just not gonna happen. It's not. So this is in Hedgehog Fibers. Deep End is the colorway. I got it from a yarn shop in just outside of Williamsburg, Virginia. I do not remember what it was called, but it was a really cute little store. So if you're ever in Williamsburg going to Busch Gardens or something, check it out. Might as well. I think there's a cat in their logo. I don't know. If I remember what it was, I'll put it in the description down below. I might try to put a thing in the screen so you can see it all there too, but you know, I'm out of practice with podcasting, so I'm still going with editing as a maybe. We might just be throwing this one up after smushing all the videos together too. But yeah, I'll put a progress keeper on this one, so next time I kind of check in and hop on, I'll be able to tell you where I left off and we can actually see how much progress I made. Whip number 2 is the Travel Mode 2.0 by, I was prepared, but I forgot to write who the Travel Mode 2.0 is by. Suzanne Summers, maybe? See if I can find out really quickly. Oh, the boyfriend's coming inside and potentially disturbing me again. LOL. Yeah, Suzanne Summer, I was right. Look at me go. Okay, so this is my Travel Mode 2.0. I am using the Lord of the Rings Advent from 2023 from Fiber Nymph Dye Works. Last time I showed y'all, I was working on this section right here. I have since finished that section, done the little intermission with my undyed neutral color yarn, and now I'm working on one more of the rectangles. So again, all I have left to do helps if I don't cover my face. All I have left to do is finish this side, do this, and then the border. I was debating not doing a border and blocking this and seeing how big it was going to be without a border. I have decided I'm still going to block it, weave in all my ends, see how big it's going to be, but I'm definitely going to do the border just because I feel like that's going to help finish like tying it all together, if you know what I mean. But I'm hoping that by the time I post this podcast, I will have it as a finished object for y'all. So there is that. And if any of you are following along from back from 2-ish years ago, or if you're like me and you find a new podcast and you have to watch from the beginning because you're weird and obsessive like that, damn, I should have grabbed a sock blocker. I bought yarn to specifically make socks for my uncle. One of his favorite songs is Jesse's Girl. Woolen Vinyl is local to me and is a lot of the festivals I go to, and all of her yarns are based on like music. So most of her yarns have a song colorway for their title. So let me grab the yarn. I found this yarn, which is Jesse's Girl. So it's mostly blue, got some purple and pink and black variegated in there a little bit. And I decided that I was going to make my uncle a pair of socks out of this colorway. Well, she only had minis of it. So I'm like, all right, well, I'll make him a pair of socks and just do a neutral color and then do this as heels, toes, cuffs. And then I ended up getting 2 minis. And I'm like, I'm gonna do stripes too. So I started back in forever ago, like I think 2022 I think is when I started these. So I get through the cuff, knit all the way down to the heel flap and gusset, realize I screwed up the heel flap and gusset. So I ripped that back. I don't remember exactly what happened. Oh, I think I tried it on after I ripped it back and it didn't even fit my foot and ankles. So I was like, okay, gonna have to rip it out and start over again. So ripped it out, started over again. Could I tell you what happened the second time I started it over again? No, I could not, but for some reason I needed to start over. So this is my 3rd attempt at these socks. I have a hoe because I have one finished sock, and guess what? It's still not gonna fit my uncle's foot. So apparently this is just meant to be mine because it fits my foot. So yeah, I am just doing a vanilla cuff down pattern, 64 stitches in the round. Use 9-inch circular needles, ChowGoo, because I don't mind DPNs, but I find that just goes faster for me than DPNs. The stripes are about 5 rows each. And so colorway, again, Jesse's Girl by Woolen Vinyl. And then I don't remember the name of this. It's just kind of charcoaly. But I got it because I ran out of yarn on a different pair of socks and I needed like a grayish color to do the toes. So this is just my backup kind of yarn if I need to pair it with something that's kind of neutral. So I used it. I had a Musselburgh that I ran out of, which y'all will see in a future clip, that I ran out of this yarn, or I ran out of the yarn for, so I supplemented with this, just made that be the inside. Did it for toes on those other socks, and then now have done it for the main color so that the contrast color kind of spotlight, that's the word I'm looking for. But yeah, so I had this one sock mostly done for a good 2 years. I just didn't close the toe. And I think it was just because I was so annoyed that it wasn't turning out how I wanted it to. So these just went into timeout for 2 years. And I have finally picked them back up, finally closed the toe, and now I have the entire cuff and leg done on the second one. So I am at the start of the heel. Obviously haven't started it yet, but I'm hoping that next time I pop on here, maybe not, this will definitely be a finished object by the time podcast episode goes up, but hopefully it'll be a finished object at the next clip that I record. So that's where I'm at. I'm not going to put a progress marker in this one because I'll remember where I left off because it's the cuff. You can't forget you left off at the cuff. Watch me forget I left off at the cuff. Yeah, that's where we are. So I'll see you on the next go round. Hey everybody, excuse the mess of hair. I just figured I would pop in really quickly and tell you guys what I'm doing right now. I had a finished Musselburg that I made for myself a while back, maybe like 2 years ago, 3 years ago, I don't know. But it has a couple of holes in it, and I've been sitting here trying to debate how to best fix the holes and have it look nice. But then I put the hat, that's the word I'm looking for, put the hat on my little's head and decided that this colorway looks really nice on her, so I'm just gonna frog it and make a smaller size. So let's see, do I know how to flip my camera? Maybe? No, I don't know what that button I'm pressing does, so we're just gonna be weird and awkward and do it this way. So trying, yes, so yeah, I'm just frogging away. I ran out of yarn the first time around, in case you can't tell. Ran out of yarn the first time around, so I'm gonna save the charcoal yarn to actually do some darning on some socks that need it, and then the purple and blue and white will become a new smaller sized Musselburg. So that's what I'm doing on this ever so lovely, I don't know, it's not that it's not lovely, it's just a quiet Saturday night here at home. The Tiny's in bed already, the boyfriend's out doing his own thing, and I'm just chilling, watching knitting podcasts, and shout out to Alt Knits, who I'm currently watching, and frogging some stuff. So have a happy Saturday night or whatever time of day you're watching this. Bye. Hey everybody, good morning or whatever time it is you're watching this. It is Sunday, March 16th, so happy one day after the Ides of March. Coming to you from a hotel room this time around. We went to the Carolina Fiber Fest yesterday because I unfortunately will not be at Maryland Sheep and Wool this year. And so we decided we were already coming down to Charleston, South Carolina just for a short getaway, and happened to be on the same weekend as the Carolina Fiber Fest. So we decided to make a pit stop along the way. Let me not spin in the spinning chair. Decided to take a pit stop along the way and stop at the Carolina Fiber Fest, partially because I wanted to go, and then partially also to see if maybe I would be interested at all in vending at that festival in the future. I probably will be interested, so we'll see. Maybe I'll be there in the future, if they let me in. Maybe not, who knows, I don't know, that's a year away, we'll figure it out. But yeah, so hence the hotel room, hence my suitcase and the backpack. Just go with it. Yeah, onto yarn stuff. I mean, that was yarn stuff, but whatever, you all know what I mean. I do have a finished object. I don't have it with me because travel, and I still need to block it, so you guys will see that either in the next clip or the next video. Not sure if this is going to be the last clip or not. We'll see. So I'm gonna show you some whips. First of all, don't judge me for how many whips I brought along with me, because I could. It's a car trip, we're road tripping, so we have all the space in the world. Last clip, I know I showed you a finished sock, so I showed you a hoe, and I said that next time I recorded I'd have a second finished sock. That was a lie. That was a lie. But I do have half of a sock. So I have cuff is done, whole leg is done, and then I've got, I don't know, maybe half of the heel. Just doing a standard heel flap and gusset because I don't have to think when I do those, since that tends to be my go-to formula. I need to know this. Paws can't read with my glasses on. You'd think that because I have glasses, it makes it easier to see things up close, but no. I use US 1.5, 2.5 millimeters for my feetsies. So yeah, this is the contrast color. I'm pretty sure I showed it to y'all in the last clip, but don't remember because that was a ways ago that I recorded. Glasses back on so that I can see everything else. Hey, I can see again. Okay. Next one is, and this project bag is from Camp Stitchwood, I think they're called now. They used to be ad knits or AD knits or something along those lines, but they have a whole bunch of like national parks theme. They have some like, they don't have it available at their booth, but you can, I think, order it and then they'll ship it to you. But it's like you can pick out a design and then they'll put it on the shirt or sweatshirt or something. I'm pretty sure Aquila from a Lefty Knitter podcast has one of their sweatshirts or something that says knitter. Yeah, I have a couple of their little small bags that I use for socks and muscle burrows and all that. This next one I got from Sweet Pea Fiber in Hyattsville, Maryland. Slow knitting club with a little snail, and it will get done or not because I knit slowly, and that's okay. This one is my So Summer by Jessie Maid using hedgehog fibers in the color Deep End. I did put a marker on it last time, so still not too far. Last time I was there, now I am here. I'm almost done with the increases. I think I have 2 rounds of increases to go. It's a paid for pattern, so I'm not gonna give anything away, but basically I think I have another inch or 2 to go before I'm done with increasing. Fun fact with this project though, when we originally bought the yarn, I got 2 skeins. I knew that this was the pattern I wanted to make with it, so looked it up, looked at my size, determined 2 skeins of yarn would be enough. 2 skeins of yarn is probably not going to be enough. And this is Hedgehog Fibers, and they're based out of Cork, Ireland, and I'm in Maryland. And so I was looking for, on the road trip down here to Charleston, and then also we're going to be going to Charlotte in about a month and a half. I was like looking to see if I could find anyone that might have the yarn, and Hedgehog Fibers allegedly has like a list on their website of shops that sell their yarn. Like half of the shops I looked at from their website are, not half, that's dramatic, but like there were a handful that I looked at that were permanently closed. So that's not helpful. And then like all the ones local to me don't actually stock Hedgehog, even though it says on Hedgehog's website they do. So Hedgehog, if y'all could update that, that would be great. But I wound up ordering a single skein of yarn from Ireland so that I could be sure to not lose at Yarn Chicken. So I'm gonna be mad if 2 skeins was enough and I get all the way through yarn. Like I don't even touch the 3rd skein, but you know, that's gonna be what it's gonna be. I have the yarn now. So I'm at a point where in my current skein, I have, we'll compare. I think I'm like halfway-ish through, and as you can tell, totally different looks. So I am gonna start fading in and alternating every row. I'm not sure if I'm gonna alternate every row now or knit on this one a little bit more. I have a yarn scale with me, so I'll weigh it and see what we're at. I think as long as it's less than 25 grams left, I'll start weaving it in. Not weaving it in, fading it in. Anyway, on to the next one. I started, because I have a finished object, I started a new project. This one is, it's the Tansy, I'm trying to do this without covering my mouth. It's not working very well. The Tansy Darling dress. It is by Tyga Hillard. I am making the size 2T. It is a paid for pattern. It was like $6.50 or something, so not expensive at all for a pattern, in my opinion, at least. Started this in the car yesterday. I am using 2 different colors. They're both from Wool and Vinyl, and they're based out of, I think, Smithsburg, Maryland, but local to me. This is, it's a little cooler of a tone than it's showing up in this hotel lighting, because all the hotel lighting is warm lighting. But this is Eleanor Rigby from her Beatles collection. And then this is While My Guitar Gently Weeps, also obviously from Beatles collection. Yeah, this is showing up a little bit better than the other one did, but it's still cooler. It's not like an off-white cream color. It's definitely more white, or like white with a touch of gray. But yeah, so I'm doing, on the pattern, I'm gonna do this lace section and just like basically waist up, excluding the cuff of the arm and the cuff of the collar. Cuff of the collar, that's not right, just the collar. I'm gonna do this in While My Guitar Gently Weeps, While My Guitar Gently Weeps. It's early, I'm not gonna coffee yet. And then same with the lace detailing down here. And then for all of the cuff and collar, and then like this section of the dress, I'm gonna do in Eleanor Rigby. And I've gotten sort of, you know, I've gotten 16 rows done, 15 rows done, something like that. So I have, well, it's hard because obviously lace, you want blocking to see it. This is so awkward. Okay, well, you can't really tell just yet, but that is like the top of the heart on that section. So starting knitting back and forth, and then we'll eventually join in the round. Yeah, this has been really fun to work on so far. I don't do lace very often, but I'm enjoying it. The only problem is I have to pay attention to what I'm doing and not just kind of keep going and count and everything like that. And that is sometimes hard for me to do and not get distracted because, yeah, ADHD. So we will see how far I get on this trip. I'm hoping to get at least the top part of the dress done. But my little is 15 months in a couple of days. So making tutti, I have plenty of time to finish it. She's still wearing, like, there's still some 9-month clothes she can fit in. She's very comfortably in 12 months. So I know by doing tutti, she'll be in it for a while. And then acquisitions from what I got yesterday. So I only that's not true. I only bought things from 2 different vendors. We skipped over most of the vendors that come to Maryland shows just because we were in a little bit of a time crunch, since we didn't get there until afternoon and the show ended at 5. And also some of those vendors, like, I'm 90% sure are going to be at Frederick Fiber Fest. I'm 90% sure if they're not at Frederick Fiber Fest, I'll see them either at Shenandoah Valley or Maryland Alpaca. So I didn't really feel a need to go into, like, I wanted to see new to me vendors. So for the most part, we skipped vendors that were not new to me, except for Fangirl Fibers, which reminds me, real quick before we get to acquisitions, I have the yarn from Toy Story Aliens, and this is a bag from Fangirl Fibers. Okay, so I did stop at Fangirl Fibers because I couldn't help myself, and they came out with an Empyrean, so Iron Flame, Onyx Storm, Fourth Wing collection. This one, the collection is a fly or die. This one I purely got because of the name. Don't get me wrong, I like the yarn too. It's good, moody, brown. There's like, again, this lighting is horrible, but like that's a tiny, tiny bit of a blush pink. Shadow Daddy. So yeah, Shadow Daddy's gonna make me a hat. Unless when we were leaving the festival, there was someone that had on a knit top that I thought was really pretty. So I asked her what it was. It was the SD top. So this is a DK. I'm pretty sure, I haven't like looked in depth at that top, but I'm pretty sure that top was also DK. So I'm kind of thinking that if Fangirl Fiber is at any upcoming shows that I go to and has more Shadow Daddy, that maybe I'll make an Estee top. So we'll see. The otherwise is going to be probably, ooh, sorry, that shook the table. Otherwise, probably going to be a photographer hat. I don't know if you can hear my boyfriend in the background doing morning things, but if you can, sorry. And then a couple more things I got. Well, boyfriend got coffee toffee. And I'm gonna pause. BRB. Okay, I'm back. All right, so the second booth I wound up making a purchase at was McMullen Fiber Company, or McMullen Fiber Co. I feel like I'm missing something. Oh, because it's hiding behind the yarn. So first thing I got was a small yarn scale. He looks like this. It was impulse purchase. I was like, I don't have a yarn scale that I can take places with me. Let me get a yarn scale I can take places with me. So I did. In the interim, when I just stepped away just now, I did weigh what I have left of the one skein of the hedgehog that I've been using. Apparently I'm really bad at eyeballing because I have 49 grams left of that skein, so we'll see. Other thing I got was a candle called Sweater Weather. And I can show you the inside of the candle, but just looks like a candle. It smells really good though. Its top notes are of citrus, cinnamon, chrysanthemum. Cinnamon. I think I just said cinnamon. Cinnamon. The heart of the notes are pear, apple, and berries. And then the base is vanilla, cask brandy, and pecan. And the candle is from Redwood & Co., but it was sold at McMullen Fiber Co.'s, can't get my candle close, at their booth. And then the other thing I got was this lovely, 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 lovely skein of yarn. It is Posh Skinny Landscape in the Morso collection. I'm guessing is how you pronounce that. But it is MCN, 80% merino, 10% cashmere, 10% nylon. It is so soft and squishy, and it's about 630 yards. It's a pretty light fingering. So I think this will be an outline tank. I double checked my yardage. Doesn't mean I did it correctly, but I double checked my yardage to make sure I'd have enough for the size I need. I figure for the outline tank, I think I might have said T earlier, I meant tank. For the outline tank, I'm probably gonna go a little bit negative ease on that. So I'm less worried. But anyway, yeah. So it's got some orangey speckles, some blue-green speckles, and then again, the light is a lot more yellow in here, so this isn't quite as yellow as it appears, but it is a little more cream than white. And she did this whole collection, I guess, based on the artwork from Bertha Morisot. Oh wait, nope. Look, there's a pronunciation thing. Bert Marizo. Marizo. Go with that. A founder of the Impressionist movement, Marizo was the only woman to show at the first Impressionist exhibition in 1874. Her work hung beside pieces by artists such as Edgar Degas, Pierre-Auguste Renoir, I don't know how to pronounce any of these French names, and Claude Monet. Though surrounded by a circle of male painters, she rarely painted men. Her works focus on women and children and domestic scenes that depict everyday French life. So yeah, gave me that little card to tell me about the artist, and there's a little QR code for more reading on the artist. And then I did stop at one other booth and I got buttons. I cannot find the buttons I got, which is unsurprising if you know me. I don't know if they wound up in the project bag. They're meant to go with the Tansy Darley dress. So I don't know if I put them in that project bag or if I just somehow completely overlooked them when I took everything out of the little foldable bag I have, and it's folded up in that bag. Well, I guess I'll find out next time I use that bag at a store. But yeah, in the interim, when I stepped away for a moment, I decided that I think what I'm gonna do is, excuse me, have hiccups. I'm gonna have hiccups. I think what I'm gonna do is, this will not be my last clip. I think my last clip will be when we come home from the trip, or maybe I'll record in the car as we're getting home and show, well, that's fun. There's a tornado watch at my current location. Well, I don't drive in the wind, so that sounds like Prem's problem. Anyway, back to podcasting. What I'll do is I'm gonna see how much work I get done on all of my projects and kind of like show whether I was ridiculous or not for bringing 3 different projects. I know I was, but I'm curious to see how ridiculous I was. So I think I'll end out this video by recording at the end of our trip. Either we're already home or we're almost home. There's like 30 minutes left in the car or something like that. And just kind of showing how much I have done knitting wise on this trip. And I guess kind of recap the past couple months and what's been going on. Not much has been going on life-wise. Sorry, I'll stop twisting again. It's hard and twisty chairs. Just general life things, but been reading, listening to music. Sleep Token came out with a new song and announced a new album, so that's exciting. I don't really like the song as much, which makes me kind of sad. Hoping I like it like in the full album, but we'll see. Maybe it'll grow on me. I don't know. I don't have much life stuff to share, so I'll think up what else I can share about other than knitting. Maybe it'll just be knitting. I don't know. We'll find out in a couple days. Anyway, until a few days from now. Adios.
Chug. Thank you.
That came so close.
Finish it before it curdles. Good.
Hello again, everybody. It is Friday, March 21st. We've been back from our trip. You might hear background noise of baby. We've been back from our trip for 2 days. We came back on Wednesday. Sorry. The boyfriend just picked up the child and looked at me and went, so apparently somebody needs a diaper change. Anyway, yeah, so as promised, I am back with showing how far I got on all my trip knitting. Now, I knit too much, I guess, I don't know, because by the end of Sunday, which is when I had podcasted in the morning, my wrist was just killing me. So I actually ended up not really knitting on Monday, Tuesday, and instead read quite a bit and also just enjoyed being out in nature. So I did pick knitting back up on Wednesday and knit during the car ride home when I wasn't driving. So I'm still kind of pleased with what I got done. It just wasn't quite as much as I was hoping I would get done on vacation, but that's okay. The sock got 0. Nothing on the sock, so I'm not even going to bother pulling that out to show y'all because you literally just saw it however many minutes ago in the clip. And then I had told y'all that on my So Summer shirt, I only had one more like repeat of increases to go. That was false. I had 3-ish more to go. So come on, yarn, cooperate with me. I got about 1.5 done. And I did start fading in my second skein. I don't remember if I put it in the edits or not. Oh no, I think I said it, that I had 50 grams left in that one, and I was like, well, that was stupid. Yeah, so I just like mapping it out in my brain, because I have 3 different skeins that I'm rotating through, right? And you have the body and you have the sleeves. I was thinking that what I try to do is in the top, do skein, primarily skein 1, then fade in skein 2. And then for the sleeves, I could do skein 2, maybe skein 1 and skein 2, but that would leave, like, ideally once I start doing more of the body part, I don't know how to describe what I'm saying. Anyway, all that to say is I think by the end of this, I'm going to have leftovers from each of the skeins, because I want to kind of try to like blend it in as evenly as possible. And I'm afraid that I'm going to do the entire body of the sweater, and then I'm going to have skein 2 and 3 left and not have used any of skein 1 on the arm. And it's going to be a clear like distinction between where the body stops on the arm and then where the arm stops on the arm, if that makes sense. So apparently I don't know how to explain it with words, but I do have it mapped out in my brain. So maybe I'll be able to explain it with words once I've actually put it on the project. But yeah, so got all in all on this. Where's my marker? I did do a marker. I got about a little bit more than an inch done. That's about how much I got done, which I realize isn't actually that much. Or at least it doesn't look like it's that much, but I do have many stitches on the needle. So I was pleased with that. The one that got the most attention was the Tansy Darling dress for my little. So I did not put a marker in, mostly because I remembered where I was. And last time I had gotten the neckline border done and just like a couple rows of that. Lighting is awful. Oh, I didn't turn on the overhead light. Wonder if that'll make a difference. Quick pause. Okay, I'm back. Don't know if that made a difference or not, but we're about to find out. So back to the Tansy Darling. Yeah, that's a little bit better. Okay, or at least I think it is. I don't know if y'all do or not, but I do. I realize that right now, especially since I used a speckled yarn, it's not going to be perfect with regards to being able to see the words are not my forte today. Lace pattern. That's what I'm looking for. But also, of course, because it's not blocked and the yarn still needs to stretch out and do its thing. But maybe you can see it a little bit there. I can't quite tell. My eyesight's not good enough for that. But I got the entire lace charting done. Let's do that so you can see my mouth. I got the entire lace charting done, so I have all of the little hearts done on the top, and I am now ready to join in the round. For this pattern, joining in the round, I will only have a couple rows to go before I then split for sleeves and then change the colors back to be this pinkish, purplish, magenta, that's the word I'm looking for, magenta color for the body of the dress. So that's going to be my project for tonight. I'm very excited to join in the round, and I'm pleased because that was like my main goal, was to get that yoke. Yeah, I guess that's the yoke of the sweater done. Hello family. They have returned. Only other 2 things to show you guys are, sorry y'all, I keep trying not to say you guys. I did have 2 pieces of Happy Mail for me when I came home. Normally I won't have this many acquisitions because I do try to not spend a lot of dollars, but I had a couple impulse purchases, one of which was this bag. So this bag is from Barley Pearls. They're out of Arkansas. It's Chris and Krista, I believe their names are. But just in time for baseball season and opening day, I have my new baseball knitting bag. I got it embroidered with my maiden name. Most of you guys might have me, or sorry, again, with the guys, trying not to. Y'all probably have me down, or I know I'm listed as Jennifer Amaya on all of my business stuff. I started this business when I was married. That was my name at the time. I've only halfway changed it back to Donahue. So some places you'll see me as Donahue, some places you'll see me as Amaya. Either way, I'm Jennifer. I'm still me. But I got it embroidered with my maiden last name and the number that I wore when I played softball. And I love it so much. It's got little wristlet for easy carrying at the games. And then the inside, I don't know if this is intentional or not, but the inside to me just kind of looks like the grass in the outfield. So I love it. I'm so happy with it. This is their logo and their information. So yes, I was correct. It is Chris and Krista, and they're based out of Conway. I don't know what that giggle was. The other thing I got was from Back Porch Fiber Co. Also an impulse. I don't remember what it was. I don't even think I was actually working on a specific project that like I needed to keep track of my rows and my repeats. Maybe it was, I was thinking in preparation for the Tansy Darling. I don't know. But she had, I'm sorry, I don't remember her name, but she had these little pattern tracker sticky notes. So it's just, it goes row 1 through 12 and you can mark off how many times you've repeated it. And I tend to do printout patterns. I kind of go back and forth between doing the printout patterns and then using my phone or my iPad. It just depends on where I'm at and what I have going on. But I figured this would probably be pretty convenient for the times that I am using a printed out pattern to be able to mark it down. And then she included a little stitch marker. Don't know if I'll be able to show it. We'll see. Maybe? Yeah. So just a little stitch marker. My hands are kind of big and in the way, so you can't really see it, but that's all right. Yeah, I don't remember her name, but she did one day post when she was on vacation with her family, a card game or something, and there was a card game and it was Pinochle, and I got really excited and she got really excited because no one really ever knows what Pinochle is. So shout out to you if you know what Pinochle is. My family on my mom's side, like when we have family reunions, there's a whole ass Pinochle tournament and everything. Lots of competition and fun. I mean, it's like old people level competition, but there's some smack talk that happens. Anyway, so that's all I've got for this podcast episode of the knits and the stuffs. I'm gonna get some dyeing done tomorrow. Haven't decided if I'm gonna do a new colorway or just restock some of my other colorways that I'm out of, so TBD on that. Book-wise, I've done a lot of reading. Like I mentioned, when I was on vacation, I did more reading than I did knitting on Monday and Tuesday. I just finished one book that was called, so I actually finished 2 books recently, like in this past week, that I really, really enjoyed. The first one was a nonfiction one called Undoing Drugs, and it was about the history and future of harm reduction and addiction and things like that. So even if you don't have any addicts in your life, but especially if you do, I felt like that was really thought-provoking on different ways we can think about addiction and how we as a society approach it, and even we as individuals approach it, and kind of points out some of the positives and some of the negatives of abstinence-based programs like NA or AA, and how we can kind of intertwine all of the positive things as opposed to just it has to be one way or another. I don't remember who that was by. I'll put it in a thingy because I figured out how I'm doing that now. And then the other one was called The Dictionary of Lost Words. I fairly often don't actually read descriptions of what books are about, and I just go on vibes based on the title sometimes. This was an instance in which I did that. where I 100% thought it was going to be some sort of fantasy about fairy language and stuff. No, it was about the human language. It was about English. Yes, I know there are other human languages, but my point was it was it was not a fantasy. There were no mythical creatures in the book. So it was a historical fiction about the kind of surrounding the time frame of the making of the Oxford Dictionary. But it was with a focus on women, essentially, and how some women were involved with it and what life was like as a woman in the late 1800s and early 1900s. Yeah, for the fact that I did not know what the book was going to be about and that it ended up being about something completely different and was a historical fiction, I thoroughly enjoyed it. So those are the two books that are at the top of my mind that I just recently read that I recommend to others. I do have a Goodreads account so for 2025, I don't really do resolutions, but one of my things that I wanted to be more intentional about was actually leaving reviews on my Goodreads account. Sometimes those reviews can be as simple as Bjorn, what the fuck? And sometimes they can be an essay, such as The Crash by Frida McFadden, which I hate and wrote an essay on. So if you have any interest in reading my essay, or if you also hated that book by Frida McFadden, have fun reading. But yeah, so all of that to say, if you are ever interested in what I'm reading or anything like that, you can find all the information there. I'm not gonna always talk about all the books I read or anything, because I'm partially all over the place and because I also read a lot. So it's too much. This is a knitting podcast, not a book podcast. My child is playing with my boyfriend's keys and just like shook them and went, bye-bye. So I don't know where she thinks she's going, but apparently she's going somewhere. Yeah, I had something else that I was gonna share and I forgot it. So I guess if I remember it, I'll share it at the next podcast episode. But thank you all for joining me. I never remember to say like, comment, subscribe, but if you like me, like, comment, subscribe. If you don't do any of those things. Also, please don't leave a down thumb because that would make me sad. Yeah, so until the next episode, I kind of liked doing it this format of doing it more vlog style, especially now that I've gotten a little bit more confident in my editing skills. And I feel like doing it every 2 months for this past cycle worked pretty well for my brain space and where I'm at. So that's what I would say to expect this next time around, that sometime in mid to late May, you'll probably get another podcast episode. In between now and then, we do have a trip to Charlotte coming up for a wedding. We have your regular Easter holiday stuff coming up. The Frederick Fiber Festival is coming up as well, so I'll post information about all of that. And yeah, I'll link Ravelry project pages, Goodreads, Instagrams, Etsy's, whatever else down below for you to peruse if you choose to. So with all that being said, thanks for joining me for this 2-month episode, and I will see you next time around. Bye!